Hello, receiving students, teachers, and 6C. Thank you. You may take your seats. All right, in our last lesson, we looked at forces can make things move, lesson number 2. And I gave you a homework to do. Receiving teachers, you can check with the students. Model class, did you do your homework? Thank you. Okay, let's have Melisha.
Because the roots are still in the ground.
Because the roots are still in the ground. Okay, good. What else? Manuel, thank you.
Because a tree have a root under that connects with the ground up to the tree stem. That's all tied the tree. So you cannot push a tree because it stands permanently unless it is cut down.
Because
it stands permanently unless it is cut down.
It stands permanently unless it is cut off. Okay, good. Any more? Owa, thank you.
Because it has many roots that support it not to move.
Very good. Because it has many roots to support it from moving. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you 6C for your answers and also the receiving students for your answers. Now let's look at those 3 answers that our friends from the model class gave. Number 1, we have because the roots are still in the ground. Okay, number 2, because it stands permanently unless it is cut off. And number 3, because it has many roots that supports it from moving. Okay, so these are some of the answers from the model class, receiving students and teachers. Now let's look at our answer for that question. Okay. Since we are looking at force, okay, our force does not always make something move or change its shape. Now, for example, if you are pushing on a tree, you are applying force. Is that correct? Yes. You are applying force, but it cannot move. So, in our last lessons, we say that we use force to make things move. But in this case here, we are applying force, but the tree or the object will not move. So we must always remember, receiving students and 6C, that in some situations we can apply force, but there will be no movement. Are we clear, receiving students and 6C? Okay, so that is our answer for our homework. Force does not always make something move or change its shape. So I'll give you another example. If I push this wall, it cannot move. Though I'm applying the force, it cannot move. Okay, so that's the explanation for that homework question. Okay, let's move on. Receiving students, teachers, and 6C, we are still looking at the same outcome. Strand and substrand. And our lesson topic for today's lesson, reducing force, lesson number 1. That is our topic for today's lesson. In this lesson, receiving students and 6C, we will describe ways in which force can be reduced or stopped. So that's what we will look at in this lesson. All right, receiving students and 6C, I want you to discuss and identify situations that involve in reducing or slowing down of force. In your groups, okay, we have 9 groups in this model class. I want you to discuss and identify situations that involve in reducing or slowing down force. I want you to discuss now with your group members. Okay, you discuss and identify situations that involves in reducing or slowing down force. So try to think of some of the situations that involves reducing force. You discuss with your group members. Okay, in everyday situations, in everyday situations, how can you reduce force or slow down force? What are some situations that you can think of? How can you reduce or stop force? Okay, but first of all, you identify the situations. We are talking about everyday situations. Can you reduce or stop force? One of the situations. reducing force. Think of a situation that involves slowing down a force. Okay, receiving students in 6C. In our last lesson, we looked at force can make things move. Okay? Now here, we are trying to identify situations that reduce or slow down force. Okay? All right, I'll give you an example. Receiving students and 6C. Now, let's look at a car, okay? How can you slow a car? Now, I'm giving you a situation here, receiving students and 6C. Okay? A fast-moving car. How can we slow it down or reduce the force of that fast-moving car? So this is the situation that I'm giving. Now, you can think of other situations that involves reducing force or slowing down of force. Okay, I already gave you one situation. That is a fast-moving vehicle. Okay, how can we reduce the force of that fast-moving vehicle? Remember, but the situation here I'm giving is fast-moving vehicle. Now you will be thinking, how can we stop or slow down that fast-moving vehicle? Ashanti. Okay, I said you identify situations that involve reducing force or slowing down force. A situation, now, like right now I'm giving you a situation. Okay? A fast-moving car. How can you slow it down? How can you reduce the speed of that car? So the situation here is a fast-moving car. So there are many others that you can think of that involves reducing force or slowing down of force. Many others that you can think of. All right, receiving students and 6C, let's go through some of the situations that you have listed for reducing force and slowing down of force. Receiving students, you can tell your teacher. Come on, model class. Give me some of the situations that involves reducing force or slowing down of force. All right, 6C, we should be, we should stop discussing now. And I should see some hands up. Minol, thank you.
Motorcycle.
Motorcycle, very good. What else? Emmanuel, thank you.
Riding a bicycle. Bicycle.
Okay, riding a bicycle. Very good. That's one of the situation, okay? Any more? Anna Moro, thank you.
Running.
Running. Very good. Fred. Thank you, Fred.
Truck. Truck.
Truck. Truck. Okay. Good. Elipoli.
Tap water. Tap water.
Tap water. Very good. Or we can say water tap. Taylor, thank you.
Riding a scooter. Riding a scooter.
Scooter, riding a scooter. Very good. And last one, let's have Samuel, thank you.
Fan.
Fan, very good. Fan. All right, receiving students and 6C, thank you for your answers. Now, these are some of the situations that involves reducing force or slowing down force. We have motorcycle. Motorcycle, riding a bicycle, running, truck, water tap, riding a scooter, and fan. But there are many other situations that you can think of, receiving students and 6E. So all these situations here involves reducing force. Now you can drive a truck, okay? If you are driving a truck, 120 kilometers per hour, and if you try to stop the vehicle, if you say, if it doesn't involve reducing force, then it can't stop. You will just drive on that same speed, and we never know, you might get into accident, okay? So these are some of the situations that involves reducing force. Okay, thank you, 6C and receiving students. Now let's move on to our main activity. All right, this is your instruction, receiving students and 6C. Do the following exercises by filling in the table. And this is the table. Making things stop. You have the object in column 1, column 2. How can I make it stop? And you have the following objects: bicycle, a netball in the air, a football rolling along the ground, and water running in a creek. How can I make it stop? Okay? Are we clear, receiving students and 6C? Okay, so in our last lesson, we looked at forces that make things move. Okay? Now we are looking at making things stop. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the activity. Okay, we should be working fast. Some of us are very slow. Okay, receiving students in 6C, by now you should complete the table. Let's go through some of the answers together. Okay, let's look at the first object, bicycle. How can you make it stop? Brett, thank you.
Using a brake.
Again,
By using a brake.
by using. Okay, very good. By using a brake. Any more? Ellen, thank you.
By stepping or pressing on the brakes.
By stepping or?
Pressing.
Okay, it's similar to number 1. Okay, very good. Melisha.
Stop pedaling.
Stop pedaling. Okay. Stop. Okay, you are riding the bicycle. Or we can say you drag your along the ground. Very good. Let's move on. The next one, a netball in the air. How can you make it stop? Victoria, thank you.
By catching it.
Very good. Okay. By catching the ball in your hands. All right, let's move on. A football rolling along the ground. Lorraine. Thank you, Lorraine.
By stopping it using our legs.
Okay. Stopping it using your legs. Any more? Receiving students, you can tell your teachers. All right, let's move on. Water running in a creek. How can you stop a water running in a creek? Madhu, thank you.
By making a dam.
By making a dam. Very good. Any more? Last one. Okay, Victoria.
By making a water tap.
By
Making a water tap.
making a water tap. Good try. Thank you, Victoria. Brett, last one from you.
By filling up with a gravel.
By,
Filling up with a gravel.
sorry, I can't hear you clearly.
By filling up with a gravel.
My filling it up with the ground. Gravel. Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you, receiving students and 6C for your answers. Okay, let's move on. Our summary for today's lesson. We have only one summary point. Moving forces can be reduced or stopped. Now we all know that forces can make things move. And we can also stop or reduce those moving forces. And our key phrase for today's lesson, reducing force. That's our key phrase for today's lesson. And our next lesson topic will be on reducing force, lesson number 2. And the materials for the next lesson, receiving teachers, please take note of that. Students' workbooks, pencils, erasers, and ruler. With that, thank you, receiving students, teachers, and 6C for your participation.